For a while there, it looked like the spineless Republicans in the Senate were going to allow all of Donald Trump's nominees, with the notable exception of Matt Gaetz, to easily walk to a confirmation, not caring about their personal failures, their professional failures, their clear conflicts of interest, their inability to do their jobs, their enemies list. In some cases, no. They were all going to bend the knee to Donald. But one of the most important nominees for Donald Trump's agenda looks like he's actually going to fail that test. In some breaking news that we have about Kash Patel, Donald Trump's nominee to head up the FBI has screwed him royally. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now let's get into this breaking report delivered by Chris Hayes. Let's take a look.
We're likely to get final confirmation votes very soon for some of Donald Trump's most unqualified and unfit government nominees, including RFK Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services and Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. But his pick to run the FBI for the next 10 years may stand alone. That, of course, is Kash Patel, the pro-insurrection conspiracy theorist who has repeatedly vowed to purge the Bureau and turn its headquarters into a deep state museum, who wrote a book with an enemies list. Last week, we learned that Patel took $25,000 from a Kremlin-connected Russian filmmaker to help make an anti-FBI documentary. On the same day, we also learned that Patel holds between $1 and $5 million in stock in a Cayman Islands-based shell corporation controlled by the Chinese e-commerce giant Shein. That's a lot of money. Those foreign conflicts of interest should be, I think, disqualifying for anyone who wants to be the top cop in America. But his vote out of committee is still set for Thursday. And at Patel's confirmation hearing, multiple Democrats grilled him about his past ravings against the deep state. And New Jersey Senator Cory Booker asked him if he was putting them into policy action.
Are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with Trump investigations?
Senator, just to be clear, I did not participate in any of those DOJ decisions.
Sir, that's a yes or no question. Are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with Trump investigations? Yes or no?
I am not aware of that,
Thank you.
Senator.
Okay, I am not aware. That was very clear cut. Are you aware? I am not aware, under oath. Just a few hours later, the Trump administration moved to oust most of the FBI's career leadership and scores of senior agents in field offices across the country. And the acting attorney general, a former Trump defense attorney, demanded lists of all FBI personnel who had worked on any January 6 cases, thousands of agents, case managers, technical workers, and intelligence analysts. It is a purge without precedent in American history. And now, as the Senate prepares to vote on Patel's nomination, the top Democrat on the Judiciary Committee says Patel lied to them about his role in that purge.
Multiple whistleblowers have disclosed to my staff highly credible information indicating that Mr. Kash Patel has been personally directing the ongoing purge of senior law enforcement officials at the FBI. On the morning of January 29th, the day before Kash Patel's confirmation hearing, there was a meeting between the acting leadership of the Department of Justice and the FBI. Notes from that morning meeting read, KP wants movement at FBI, reciprocal actions for DOJ. Stephen Miller, at Mr. Patel's direction, had ordered DOJ leadership not just to terminate a specific list of officials, but to speed up those terminations. Mr. Patel seems to be unable to wait for Senate confirmation to carry out retribution against his perceived political enemies.
Now, if those whistleblower and those meeting notes are correct, we have yet another private citizen unconstitutionally, illegally attempting to unilaterally fire career government officials. But this is worth. Patel told the Senate, as we played for you, under oath, repeatedly, he had no knowledge, not aware of those firings. Durbin says that's perjury. He has sent a letter referring Patel's case to the Justice Department's Inspector General. Patel appears to be lying about his role in the ongoing destruction of America's law enforcement and counterterrorism capabilities, the removal of apolitical career public servants, to remake the FBI as Donald Trump's personal police force. I don't hold out hope Senate Republicans will ever do the right thing, but just maybe they too are unwilling to trust Trump nominees who are so willing to apparently lie right to their faces.
Republicans are lying? Kash Patel didn't tell the truth? What a shocker. Can't believe it. Perjury, another crime for Donald Trump's cronies, for Donald Trump's cult. Add it to the list. It keeps getting longer every single day. Now, this does not mean that Senate Republicans won't do what they always do, bend the knee, do what Trump wants, fall in line. Like I said in the beginning, be spineless. That is what we expect them. But it just got a little bit more difficult, and it just got a little bit easier for Democrats to make what I think is the most important case for them messaging against Donald Trump right now, which is this isn't what Americans voted for. Trump wants to act like he won some sweeping victory, some historic mandate to do whatever he wants, but that's not true. Voters expected that Donald Trump, and for the wrong reasons they expected this, would lower their prices, something that he clearly has no intent to do and is in fact doing the opposite. But what he is focused on is the Gulf of America, attacking trans kids in middle school and high school, and Kash Patel's enemies list. That's what he's focused on. That is a message that Democrats can deliver on. That's what we have to be talking about everywhere we possibly can. And that actually happened, funny enough, on Fox in a clip right here.
Well, no, but wait a second. But let's just talk about one of the things that he's prescribing to cut. He wants to get rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Here's what it's done for the folks at home. It's limited overdraft fees at banks. It's limited credit card late fees. It's made it easier for you to switch banks. It's removed medical debt from people's credit reports so that you can actually get rent after you've been sick. It's gone after banks who've taken advantage of people.
What's your argument?
My argument here is these are things that have protected the American people every day, and Elon wants to get rid of them because it doesn't work for millionaires and billionaires. No, they did not.
Yes,
they did not vote to get.
Yes, they did.
I'm sure.
Where were you on November 5th?
Donald Trump did not go to the American people and says, "I want to raise your overdraft fees." Did he? No, I don't think so.
They made it clear that what DOJ was when he was running for president. He did not go to the American people and says, "I want to raise the amount you pay on late fees." Actually, the opposite of that. He said, "I'm going to cap late fees." That's not what's happening when you get rid of the Consumer Protection Bureau. You're right. It is too late. So hopefully, American people wake up to see what's happening.
You know what? It is not surprising that the party of banning books and textbooks as well, if you could remember that, isn't necessarily that great at math. The CFPB spends about $700 million a year. Now, I'm saying the average Republican would probably go, oh my gosh, look at all that government waste. But when that returns through protections for consumers, over $22 billion a year for Americans, I'd say that's a pretty good return on investment. I think the 30 times overing your investment, I'd sign up for that one. And this is exactly what I'm talking about with the argument Republicans are trying to make. Donald Trump can do whatever he wants. That's what America voted for. Well, that's not true. And although Donald Trump would like the 2024 election to be the last election we ever have, and he's certainly going to try to make that the case, it's not. Not too far away do we have a midterm election in which the American people are going to give their grade of the Trump presidency. And I think it's going to have a lot to do with costs. It did last time. It should this time. Trump is failing there. And that's what Amy Klobuchar called out right here.
And I think the big question that I just keep coming back to with all this chaos up, corruption is up. You know what else is up? Egg prices. Because as much as Donald Trump promised to bring prices down and costs down for Americans, another day goes by when there's no work on bringing health care costs down, when there's no work on bringing housing costs down, and there's no work on doing something about making more child care for the people of this country.
It is rampant corruption and a complete lack of focus on costs. A complete lack of focus. They couldn't care less. And it only gets worse, in fact, when you look at their own hypocrisy. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are so caught up in pushing this narrative that they are cutting waste, they're trimming the fat, they're getting rid of the bureaucracy because that's going to save you money. That's not true. What do we always say about Republicans? Every accusation that they make is an admission of the truth about them. The Republicans say that they hate waste, they want to cut spending. Well, take a look at what Jim McGovern pointed out about Republicans right here.
This guy, and again, you can't make this up, but this guy wants to spend $50,000 on an emergency paint job for his government housing. $50,000 for an emergency paint job for his government housing. I wouldn't want to talk about that either if I were there, Mr. Speaker, but I have two words for Pete Hegseth: Home Depot. And I can narrow it down to one word: Lowe's. And meanwhile, they have the gall to come down here and lecture us about government efficiency and waste. I mean, it takes my breath away. Mr. Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent to insert into the record an article from military.com entitled "Hegseth Wants $50,000 for Emergency Paint Job to Move into Military Family Housing," lawmakers say.
Without objection, so ordered.
And Democrats are demanding answers because we think everyone deserves to know why this administration wants to spend $50 grand on paint for their fancy new houses, while many of our troops live in housing with black mold and lead paint and can't pay the bills or make ends meet. That ought to be the priority, not a $50,000 paint job for the new Secretary of Defense. It's the same scam every single time. They do not care about efficiency or cost. They care about themselves. These are Fox News Nepo babies that are fine with government waste as long as they're the ones doing it. And I'm just so tired of this, Mr. Speaker. They are stealing from the American people. They do not care.
Pete Hegseth. Fresh coat of paint, Pete. Fresh coat of paint, Pete. $50K for your house? Seems a little pricey. I would rather spend that $50,000 returning, what would that be? What, 1.5 million in protections through the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau? That seems like a better trade-off than a couple of coats of primer and a new eggshell white, or I don't know what Pete's house is going to be painted. That seems like a better way to spend funds. Of course, Republicans don't see it that way. They're happy to be corrupt. As long as the dollars that are misspent, because sure, there is waste in government, but as long as it's waste that makes Elon Musk billions of dollars richer, they're totally fine with it. Totally fine with it. And that is what we have to call out. That hypocrisy that really isn't a part of MAGA, but is MAGA every single day. And of course, we're going to be doing it on this show. You know that. You're hanging out all the time. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.